Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. The Flood and the Ark. Many, many years after Adam and Eve, the people of the world began to forget about God. Everywhere you looked, people were selfish, mean, and evil. God looked at the world and saw that every person was wicked. Every person except Noah. God's heart was filled with pain when he spoke to Noah. Everywhere I look, people are filled with hate and violence. I'm going to have to destroy them, wipe them all off of the earth and start over. So I want you to build a big boat, an ark, for you and your family. Noah's eyes got really big. A boat? God, are you sure? There's not enough water around here to make a big boat float. God was sure. Noah, I am going to destroy the world with a flood. If you do what I ask, you and your family will be saved. Noah must have pinched himself to be sure he wasn't dreaming. But God, are you sure? I don't know how to build a big boat like that. God was sure. Noah, I will tell you exactly how to build it. Use cypress wood to make it 450 feet long, with one big door in the side and a window going around the top. Noah must have asked, God, are you sure? My family is not that big. God was sure. The ark has to be big because it is going to carry 2 of every kind of bird and animal, 7 of every kind of animal that you can eat. They will fill the earth again after the flood. So Noah began the job God had given him. He gathered the wood and began to build the ark. Before long, a crowd of people gathered to see what he was doing. What is it? They asked. The biggest house in the world? Noah stopped hammering and shook his head. No, it's a boat. There's going to be a flood. Everyone who heard him laughed. Ha! You must be crazy, Noah. A flood big enough to float a boat that big would cover everything. That's right, Noah said. God is sending a flood to clean the whole world. Only people who are on this boat, this ark, will be saved. Please come and join me and my family and be safe from the flood. The people only laughed harder. You really are crazy if you think your God could flood the whole world. That's not even possible. But Noah kept building, and whenever a crowd would gather, he would preach to them about the coming flood. Give up your wicked ways and follow God, he would say. The flood is coming. You must come into the ark to be safe. But the people only laughed at him. As the years went by, Noah's sons grew up, and they helped him build the ark also. Finally, one day, there was no building left to do. The ark was finished. Then God spoke to Noah again. Gather the animals into the ark, he said. It's almost time for the flood. Noah asked, Are you sure, God? It will take a long time to gather all those animals. God was sure. Look, Noah, was all he said. And Noah looked out and saw long lines of animals walking toward the ark. 2 by 2 and 7 by 7, the animals and birds moved right up the ramp and through the door into the ark. Parrots, ferrets, baboons, raccoons, kangaroos, and bandicoots. They came flying, hopping, slinking, and trotting to the space Noah and his sons had built for each one. Then God spoke again. Now, Noah, move your family into the ark. It's almost time. This time, Noah didn't ask any questions. He moved his family into the ark, then stopped and spoke to the crowd that had gathered to watch. Once more he said, The flood is coming. Please come into the ark and be saved. But no one would listen. They just kept laughing. Noah, you said you were building a boat. It looks more like you were building a zoo, and your family must be going into the last cage. Sadly, Noah turned and followed his family into the ark. Then God closed the big door behind him. For 7 days they waited, but nothing happened. Outside, the people laughed and shouted even louder. But on the 8th day, something did happen. Black clouds filled the sky, and fat raindrops hit the top of the ark. The rain began to fall faster and harder until it seemed like the sky had turned into a waterfall. Now the people outside the ark weren't laughing. They were shouting for someone to open the door and let them into the ark, but it was too late. Noah wasn't laughing either. He was crying for the people who wouldn't choose to be saved, and so was God. The rain kept falling, and the water got deeper. Soon it was higher than the buildings and towers. When all the valleys were filled, the ark began to float. and the floodwaters kept rising higher and higher. Finally, all the waters of the earth crashed together, and the flood covered even the mountains. And every living thing that breathed air died.
The story you have heard today is from the Shoebox Kids Bible Stories, written by Jerry D. Thomas and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.